Good morning, my dear students. I hope you all are safe and healthy. My name is Abha, and today we are going to talk about cars. I'm sure you all like cars, right? The name of the story is The Red Fairy. So, should we start the story? So, once upon a time, there was a girl, and her name was Mittu. And Mittu loved cars. She really liked to collect pictures of cars, and she pasted it inside her scrapbook. She actually dreamed of cars. She lived with her mother, father, and a little sister, Neela. And Mittu was always talking about cars, and she loved to gather as much information she could about them. One day, after having lunch, she was sitting with her younger sister on the terrace, and they were playing a game. Her younger sister spotted cars and asked Mittu about the car, the name of the car, and any other thing that she knew. Mittu was enjoying herself, and at that moment, she spotted a beautiful, cute little tiny car. It was shining with bright color. It has small, cute headlights, and it was roaming in their colony. So Mittu was amazed, and she really wanted to know more about the car. She was curious. That day in the evening, she brushed her hair, she picked up her bicycle, and she went to the colony security guard uncle. She said, "Uncle, uncle, whose red car is that?" So the security guard uncle said, "Ha ha ha, even you like that car? Do you know it belongs to a new madam who has come to live here, and she lives at flat number 112. So then Mittu went to 112 flat numbers parking. When she reached there, she saw that all the cars that were parked were huge and long. There were mid-section sedans, there were SUVs, but there was not the small tiny red car. And Mittu liked it so much that she named her the Red Fairy. But she couldn't find the Red Fairy. Upset, when Mittu had decided to return back, she spotted another black tiny gate. She went near the gate and peeped. And there she saw was parked the Red Fairy. She opened the gate quietly and then went inside. She took a round around the Red Fairy. It was indeed beautiful. But she noticed one very different thing. There was an electrical thick wire that was connected to the car and went inside. Strange. And at that moment, Mittu's mother shouted, "Mittu, come back! Where are you roaming around?" Mittu rushed back, picked up a cycle and went back home. Now the next day was Sunday, and Mittu was out in the playground of the colony and playing football. While she was playing football, she again spotted the Red Fairy. It was driving out on the road. At that moment, Mittu left everything and she went near the Red Fairy car. She stopped the car and she noticed that the madam driving the car inside was very old. She had her hair as white as pearl, and she looked like Mittu's granny. The car had stopped. The madam pulled down the window and she said, "Hello, little girl, why did you stop me?" So Mittu said, "Madam, I really like your car. It's so pretty and beautiful. And you know what? I love cars and motorcycles." The old woman smiled. She said, "Hello, Mittu. My name is Mrs. Jones, and I'm sure you know that I am a new person living in your colony." "Yes, madam, and you know what? I know everyone here, so I will introduce you to everyone. But I'm really curious about your Red Fairy car." Red Fairy? That's a very interesting name. So why don't you do one thing? You can go and ask your mother for permission and come along with me for a small drive. Mittu had a delightful smile on her face. She was extremely happy. She rushed back home and asked her mother. And within 5 minutes she came back. She opened the door and sat inside the car. Off they went for a small drive. And Mittu asked loads and loads and loads of questions to Mrs. Jones. All about the car, all the information that she could gather. Mrs. Jones seemed to really like Mittu and her company. They reached India Gate in like 10 minutes. And while they were driving on their way, there were so many people who turned around and looked at the car and complimented Mrs. Jones about how beautiful the car was. It was tiny enough to move around on any road, and it would whiz past every little lane. When they reached India Gate, Mrs. Jones purchased ice cream for both of them. Mittu really liked eating ice creams. On their way back, Mittu told Mrs. Jones that the pollution in Delhi was increasing day by day. It was becoming difficult for people to breathe in Delhi. And her mother was not at all happy about Mittu's passion for cars, because all this pollution was 50% the reason of cars and vehicles like two-wheelers and other modes of transport. But Mittu had a great passion for cars and automobiles. What would she do? She loved to collect pictures and all the information she could. Even Mittu's father told her that Delhi was becoming extremely polluted every day. There had been days when they had not seen the moon and the stars because the air was so much polluted. It was actually known as smog, smoke plus fog. Mrs. Jones listened carefully to whatever Mittu told her. After a while, Mittu asked, Mrs. Jones, why isn't the engine of this car making any sound? Mrs. Jones smiled. She said, because this car runs on electricity. There is no noise and there is no pollution. Really? Wouldn't it be so nice if all the cars would run on electricity and make this place, this planet, a better place to live? No noise and no pollution, right? In this way, talking, giggling and laughing, Mrs. Jones and Mittu came back home. Mittu was really amazed at this new red fairy car and its technology. Though the car had to be charged every day so that it could run properly. But it would be really better if most of the vehicles would run on electricity and not create more pollution. So with this, we come to the end of the story of the red car. The red fairy actually. But my dear students, the story also mentions about pollution and the polluted air that we have these days. But don't you think even we are responsible for whatever is happening around us? And the solution to this is that only we can control it as much as we can, or at least keep ourselves safe from the pollution. And since we all know that coronavirus is going on, it is very, very important to take care of us. It's a respiratory disease, it's a respiratory virus. So whenever you go out, it is very important that you always wear a mask and protect your nose and mouth so that the virus doesn't get inside you. And post Diwali, we've seen that the level of pollution has really gone up, not only in Delhi but all over India, even in Dehradun. So let's try to be safe as much as we can. And if we plan of going to a shorter distance, let's not take a scooter or a car, but we can even walk or take a cycle. In that way, we will not even be healthy, but we will also try to save the pollution bit by bit from our own side. So let's try to be safe and let's try to be healthy. Thank you so much.